Welcome, friends of the Greasy Shop Rag. Today we're going to take a look at a Husqvarna 240 chainsaw. The customer complaint is that it's hard to start. The customer complaint should be that he broke the choke lever. So in this video I'm going to show you how to replace that choke lever. It's not just a simple, straightforward job like you might hope it would be. A lot of things got to come apart to do this. So right now we're going to remove the handle from the motor. And there's only 3 screws that hold it on, but then there's the throttle linkage. And that's kind of the big pain in the butt part about this entire repair, actually. So you got the 3 screws out and the handle is separated. But we have the throttle rod hooked into the trigger assembly. And usually I can just kind of roll this rod right out of there. I'd say 1 in 10 times it fights me like this. So we're kind of flexing that rod when we pull it out of there. It's really not the greatest way to do that, but it is what it is. You just clean a little bit of sawdust up here. And to get that choke lever on the carburetor, we got to remove the carburetor. So first let's get this plate off the back that's kind of preventing the carburetor from sliding off the studs that it's on. Here's our new choke lever, and you can see that there is a hook on the end where it attaches to the carb linkage right there. Well, in order to get the right angle to drop that in there, that's why the carb's going to have to slide forward. Really nice looking air filter there. So there's 2 nuts and then 1 screw. And I just pulled the screw out. Got the 2 nuts off. So now the air box is loose. Slide that out of the way. Do a little maintenance here. Clean up some dust. And now I can slide the carb off the studs a little bit. And then roll that choke lever into the linkage on the side of the carburetor. So there, we're halfway done. We got the lever in place, now we got to put it back together. Our 1 screw. And then our 2 nuts. I don't know why I'm using this 1/4 inch impact on here. It's really not a great idea. And in fact, I think I tightened them by hand yet anyway. Yeah, sure enough. Alright, let's put that air filter back on. It's kind of a weird air filter. It's a piece of felt held in place by that metal plate. And it does a good job. I mean, I usually don't find too much dirt behind that filter. But it sure does get dirty quick on this model. There we go. Air filter is in place. As good as can be expected. Choke lever seems to function right. Every time I take one of these handles off of this model, I check these screws. They're always loose. And if you snug them up, the saw's going to feel better. It's not going to feel so flimsy in your hand when there's that play in there. So you get that play out of it, that it kind of tightens it up and gives it a whole new feel. So that throttle rod goes together pretty easy. And then there's just the 3 screws to put it back together. Now be mindful of the length of these screws when you took it apart, because there is some longer ones and shorter ones. And I think if you put a long one in the spot I just did, you might end up poking the fuel tank. So at this point, I'm thinking, dang it, I forgot something. Do you know what it is? It's laying right there on the bench. And I don't know why I have a mental block on this part. I forgot to put this piece on here multiple times on multiple repairs. So I told you that 1 time out of 10 that thing comes apart hard, and you can see we're good for 8 more tries now, because it came off pretty easy that time. So we got this cover back in place. That was what I forgot. Now the handle can go back on. Alright, so that was a longer screw. And there's a long and a short sitting on the bench right now. The long one's going to go toward the front. And the short one's going to be back by the fuel tank. There you go. So the complaint was that it was hard starting. I can imagine it was with no choke lever. We're going to put some fuel in here, get that top cover on, and see how it starts. So that's all I'm going to have for you on the Husqvarna 240 chainsaw choke lever installation. Thanks for watching. Later.